The greatest archangel in heaven is revealed in the Bible through authority, conflict, and order, not imagination or legend. Scripture never presents heaven as vague or symbolic. It describes a real kingdom with structure, hierarchy, and command. Within that structure, one archangel appears at moments when the fate of nations and the balance between good and evil are at stake. His name is Michael. Michael first appears in the book of Daniel, and his introduction is not peaceful. Daniel 10 verse 13 describes a hidden conflict in the spiritual realm where powerful forces resisted God's purpose. The delay ends only when Michael intervenes. He is called one of the chief princes, a title that immediately places him among the highest authorities in heaven. The passage makes it clear that this struggle was real, organized, and intense. It was not symbolic language. It was a description of war beyond human sight. Daniel 12 verse 1 expands Michael's role even further. He is called the great prince who stands watch over the sons of your people. This is a unique responsibility. Michael is not assigned to individuals. He is assigned to God's people as a whole. He stands as their protector during what Scripture calls a time of distress unlike any before it. His presence is tied to moments when history reaches a breaking point. Michael does not appear during calm seasons. He rises when divine intervention becomes necessary. This alone separates him from other angels. No other angel in the Bible is described as standing guard over an entire people during end-time judgment. Michael's authority operates at the highest level of spiritual conflict, where the outcome affects the course of human history. The New Testament reinforces this image without changing it. In Jude 1 verse 9, Michael appears in a confrontation with Satan over the body of Moses. The scene is brief but revealing. Despite his rank and power, Michael does not pronounce judgment himself. He says only, "The Lord rebuke you." This moment defines his character. Michael possesses immense authority, yet he never steps outside divine command. Heaven operates by order, and even the greatest archangel does not act independently. This restraint is central to understanding why Michael is described as the greatest. His strength is not rooted in pride or self-rule. It is rooted in obedience. Where rebellion defines fallen beings, submission defines Michael. He does not challenge God's authority, he enforces it. The clearest picture of Michael's role appears in Revelation 12. Here, Scripture removes all ambiguity. A war breaks out in heaven. Michael and his angels fight against the dragon, identified as Satan. This is not poetic imagery used loosely. The passage describes leadership, resistance, and defeat. Michael commands angels under him. Satan commands angels under him. The outcome is decisive. Satan is defeated and expelled from heaven. Revelation 12 verse 8 states that Satan was not strong enough and lost his place in heaven. This moment marks a permanent shift in cosmic order. Access to heaven is removed. Accusation before God ends. This victory is directly tied to Michael's leadership. No other angel is shown leading heaven's armies in battle. No other angel is associated with such a turning point. Michael's role throughout Scripture is consistent. He is not a messenger like Gabriel. He is not described attending the throne like the seraphim. He is a defender, a guardian, an enforcer of divine boundaries. Wherever rebellion threatens order, Michael appears. Colossians 1 verse 16 provides the framework for this structure. It states that all things were created by God, whether thrones, dominions, principalities, or powers. This confirms that angelic ranks are not later inventions. They are part of God's design. Authority flows through structure. Power flows through order. Michael operates at the highest level of that system, always under God's command. This view of heaven challenges modern assumptions. Heaven is not passive. It is not distant. It is alert, organized, and prepared. Michael represents that reality. He stands where chaos must be restrained and judgment must be enforced. His actions are precise. His presence signals that limits have been crossed. Throughout Scripture, Michael never falls, never rebels, and never seeks recognition. He appears only when necessary and disappears once his role is fulfilled. He does not speak much, but when he does, his words reflect complete submission to God's authority. By the end of the biblical narrative, Michael remains exactly what he was in the beginning: a watchful guardian, a commander under orders, a protector appointed by God himself. This is how the Bible presents the greatest archangel in heaven, not through exaggeration, but through responsibility, not through appearance, but through authority, and not through myths, but through moments where heaven itself is forced to act. To understand Michael's position, the structure of heaven itself must be understood. Scripture speaks of ranks, such as thrones, dominions, principalities, and powers. These are not poetic titles. Colossians 1 verse 16 confirms they are real authorities created by God for specific purposes. Heaven functions like a kingdom, and every kingdom requires leadership, defense, and enforcement of law. Michael exists within this system as the highest-ranking enforcer of God's authority. Unlike angels, who deliver messages or guide individuals, Michael's responsibility is collective and strategic. Daniel 10 shows that spiritual conflict directly affects events on earth. The delay of Daniel's prayer response was not caused by human weakness, but by resistance in the spiritual realm. This reveals a critical truth. Nations are influenced by unseen powers. Michael's intervention breaks that resistance. This is not symbolic language. It is a description of how heaven interacts with history. Daniel 10 verse 21 states that there is no one who stands firmly with God's messenger against these opposing forces except Michael. This single line elevates his role dramatically. It suggests that when resistance reaches a certain level, only Michael is authorized to intervene. He does not operate everywhere at once. He appears where the threat is greatest. This idea continues into Daniel 12, where Michael rises during the greatest time of distress the world has known. His action is directly connected to deliverance and judgment. This establishes a pattern. When humanity approaches a turning point, Michael stands up. His presence signals that divine patience has reached its limit, and that heaven is about to act decisively. The New Testament deepens this understanding rather than changing it. Jude 1 verse 9 offers a rare glimpse into angelic protocol. Michael's refusal to rebuke Satan in his own name is not weakness. It is discipline. Heaven does not tolerate disorder, even in confrontation. Authority is exercised through God, not around him. Michael's obedience preserves the structure of heaven itself. This moment also exposes the nature of Satan's rebellion. Where Michael submits, Satan challenges. Where Michael waits for command, Satan acts on pride. The contrast is deliberate. The Bible presents Michael as the embodiment of loyal authority, while Satan represents corrupted power. This contrast explains why Michael remains in his position while Satan falls. Revelation 12 then brings this conflict to its peak. War in heaven is not described as chaos. It is described as organized resistance against rebellion. Michael leads angels under his command. Satan leads those who followed him. This confirms that both sides operate within a hierarchy, but only one is aligned with God's authority. Revelation 12 verse 9 states that Satan is cast down to the earth along with his angels. This moment is not just a victory, it is a removal of access. Satan is no longer able to accuse humanity before God. This changes the spiritual environment of the universe, and it is Michael who leads this removal. What makes this moment even more significant is that Michael does not claim credit. There is no celebration, no declaration of triumph. Scripture moves on. This silence is intentional. Michael's role is not to be admired, but to execute God's will and step aside. Throughout Scripture, Michael's actions are always defensive, never aggressive for personal gain. He does not seek territory. He protects what belongs to God. He does not initiate rebellion. He ends it. This consistency reveals his true strength. He cannot be corrupted because he does not desire authority beyond what is given. This also explains why Michael is absent from human-centered stories unless absolutely necessary. He does not appear to comfort individuals or perform signs. His assignments are larger than personal experience. They involve nations, judgment, and cosmic order. The Bible never describes Michael's appearance in detail. There is no focus on his wings, his form, or his presence. The focus is always on his function. This absence of physical description prevents distraction. Michael is defined by action, not image. Heaven, according to Scripture, is not ruled by emotion or improvisation. It is governed by law, authority, and obedience. Michael stands at the point where law is enforced. When boundaries are crossed, he acts. When rebellion rises, he confronts it. When judgment approaches, he stands ready. This understanding reshapes the idea of angels entirely. They are not decorative or symbolic. They are active participants in God's governance of creation. Michael represents the highest level of that participation without crossing into divine authority itself. By the end of chapter 2, one truth becomes clear. Michael is not great because of power alone. He is great because he carries responsibility without corruption. He holds authority without pride. He executes judgment without hatred. Heaven entrusts him with its most dangerous moments. And history shows that when Michael moves, something irreversible is about to happen. In Daniel 12 verse 1, Michael is said to stand up during a time of trouble unlike any the world has known. This language is deliberate. To stand up is to take action, to move from watchfulness into enforcement. The verse links Michael's rise to deliverance for God's people and to the resurrection of the dead. This places him directly at the threshold of final judgment and restoration. His role is not symbolic, it is operational. The New Testament echoes this expectation. In 1 Thessalonians 4 verse 16, Paul writes that the Lord will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the Archangel, and with the trumpet of God. Scripture does not name the Archangel here, but tradition consistently identifies this voice with Michael. The reason is clear. No other archangel is associated with authority over resurrection, judgment, or end-time transition. This moment marks the shift from history into eternity, and Michael's presence fits the pattern established throughout the Bible. This does not elevate Michael to divine status. Christ remains supreme. The command belongs to God alone. But Michael's role as the announcing and enforcing authority reflects heaven's structure. Even at the end of time, order is preserved. Heaven does not collapse into chaos. It moves forward through command and obedience. Revelation reinforces this order. After Satan is cast down, Scripture shifts its focus toward final judgment. Michael does not dominate the narrative, yet his earlier victory shapes everything that follows. Evil is restricted. Its time is limited. Access to heaven is denied. These changes make the final events possible. Without Michael's intervention, the sequence of judgment could not proceed. What stands out in these final references is Michael's silence. He is never quoted giving speeches or explanations. His actions speak for him. This silence is not absence. It is discipline. The Bible avoids drawing attention away from God by limiting Michael's visibility, yet his presence is felt in every major transition. This pattern reflects how heaven operates. Angels do not compete for recognition. They fulfill assignments and withdraw. Michael embodies this principle more than any other. His greatness is shown in how little is said about him, not how much. Scripture reveals only what is necessary. The contrast between Michael and fallen angels becomes clearest at the end. Satan seeks worship, recognition, and control. Michael seeks none of these. Satan speaks often. Michael speaks rarely. Satan accuses. Michael defends. Satan overreaches. Michael waits for command. This contrast explains why one remains in heaven's order, while the other is removed from it. As history moves toward its conclusion, the Bible presents a consistent message. God's kingdom will not arrive through chaos or force alone. It will arrive through order, judgment, and restoration. Michael stands at the point where these elements meet. He is not the source of judgment, but he is present when judgment begins. The idea of a peaceful ending without resistance is not found in Scripture. The Bible describes upheaval, conflict, and separation. Michael's role fits this reality. He does not soften the moment. He secures it. His presence ensures that what follows happens according to God's design, not human expectation. Even after the final battle, Michael does not remain in focus. Scripture moves forward to the reign of God and the restoration of creation. This reinforces the truth that Michael's purpose is transitional. He appears when change must occur and steps back once it is complete. This perspective challenges modern portrayals of angels as comforting or decorative. Michael represents a different reality. He is a reminder that heaven enforces order, resists rebellion, and moves history forward with precision. His loyalty has never shifted. His assignment has never changed. By the end of the biblical narrative, Michael remains exactly what he has always been: a guardian of God's people, a commander under authority, a witness to judgment and restoration. He does not claim victory. He does not demand attention. He stands ready until commanded otherwise. The greatest archangel in heaven is not defined by how often he appears, but by when he appears. When Michael moves, history changes direction. When he stands, heaven is on alert